Let's talk a little bit about Australia in general. Obviously, it's absolutely huge compared to tiny United Kingdom. And in terms of, I guess, living in different areas, there is a huge, vast or opportunity for people to choose different locations. Maybe we should talk a little bit about that.
Sure, okay. Well, obviously, I think one of the number one reasons anyone would look at coming to Australia is obviously the lifestyle. I mean, number one, the climate, but I mean, the beaches, the rainforests. We've got opportunities. I think the benefit is that we have opportunities in a huge, varied location. So a lot of times when people think of coming to Australia, they're thinking of the vibrant Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, and the outback, and there's nothing in between. So I think some of the things I wanted to go through today is just to talk about the variety of different options there are. So yes, there are roles in Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, but we've also got roles in coastal towns. So you might want perhaps a little bit more of a flexible work-life balance, a more relaxed lifestyle. So areas like Byron Bay in New South Wales, the Margaret River, Cairns up in Queensland. We have opportunities in all these areas, and they offer that, as I said, more relaxed lifestyle. Come home, go to the beach, it's still light for 2 hours. We also have opportunities sometimes when people think rural Australia, they think tiny little town with 10 people. We do have opportunities in big regional hubs. So places like Geelong in Victoria, Townsville up in Queensland, Albury, New South Wales. So these are bigger regional centres, not generally too far from the capital cities. So you generally get there within 3 to 4 hour drive. And they have populations of 100,000 plus. So you're not in some tiny little remote town, but you're not in the big, huge, 6 million people in the city. And you've got lots of infrastructure there. Sometimes people, I think, worry about whether they're going to have great schools, universities, what are they going to do on the weekends, lots of things to offer. And then, of course, we have, obviously, outback, really remote Australia, places like Alice Springs, Broome, Mount Isa. The benefit of these types of places, I think, is that smaller, tight-knit community. And pharmacists have a significant impact on the healthcare system. Often these areas might not be serviced with a doctor. Sometimes they might not even have a hospital. So the pharmacist is often that first point of call for anyone seeking advice, and they play a really important role, I think, in education and health promotion in that local community. So I think that's really rewarding for a pharmacist to be able to work in one of those places. So, yeah.
I mean, this is all really exciting because the variety in terms of the lifestyle, you can get anything and everything that you want. I mean, I've had a look online prior to this episode as to where I would potentially want to live if I was to go to Australia. And the coastal towns look, I mean, they're beautiful. And as a mother with 2 children,
Yes.
You can really visualize yourself working and kind of coming home, going to the beach, like you said, going for a swim in the evening. Or if you're like us, we're early risers and you do it all before the school run. I know there's a lot of nice surfing towns, and if you're an outdoorsy person, and we're absolutely an outdoorsy family, there's a lot of opportunities. There's a lot of national parks as well in Australia, which I wasn't aware of until I started actually Googling on the map. That must be really nice for hiking and camping and all of the other things that you can do on the weekends. So you have the option of that if you're in your early 20s and you're a very young early careers pharmacist and you don't have the family commitment. You can go into a big city like Sydney or Melbourne or Brisbane. And enjoy a very, London type lifestyle. Obviously, the cost of living will most likely be more expensive. The competition for jobs will definitely increase. So, these types of like concerns you need to take into consideration when you're thinking about moving to another country. And you may find more opportunities in the smaller towns. But like you've said before, that you are able to move around into different jobs. Unlike America, for example, you get licensed per state. Whilst in Australia, once you get your pharmacy license, you are free to move around, which is brilliant if you are a young pharmacist with no other commitments who is free to travel as well as enjoying your career and have that opportunity to see different cities. Obviously, there's the difference. There are quite big differences in weather as well. Melbourne is similar to England in terms of the colder months and more rain. I believe you can ski there though, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
But not in Melbourne itself, but within about a 2 to 3 hour drive of Melbourne, you've got all the ski fields. You've got the Victorian ski fields that are great. And you've got them just out of Canberra as well. You've got the New South Wales ski fields. And they're great. They offer some great skiing, probably not quite as good as perhaps Canada and Europe and that. But you can be in the sun in the morning and then skiing in the afternoon. So yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I mean, for long weekends and things like that, those opportunities sound fab. Yeah. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of options. And then obviously West Coast, I've heard a lot of kind of good feedback about how beautiful it is. The weather is gorgeous and hot all year round, and I guess it's a nice place for families with children as well, in terms of the community.
Yeah, definitely. I've travelled to every state in Australia. We've done quite a bit of travelling, my family and I. So I can definitely attest to there's lovely spots in every state of Australia that you can find, and great for families. And as you mentioned before, I'm biased. I live right near the beach. I live within 5 minutes walk to the beach. But on the other side, within 15 minutes, I could be in the rainforest. We've got some great rainforests here where I live. And just having that variety, being able to, as I said, go swimming in the morning and then go for a hike in the afternoon. It's just lovely. A great place to bring up kids, or, if you are young and single, being able to have that variety is just great.
And in terms of location, Australia is in a great place. If you haven't had the opportunity from England to travel around Australia or other, countries, Bali is close by, then you've got that opportunity again for, when you take your holidays from work. You're so close to some really beautiful islands, Philippines, and you've got that opportunity again to travel. I mean, from that perspective, it's a massive bonus.
That's right.
I believe in terms of work-life balance, I think Australia is probably doing better than the UK in terms of work-life balance, and you've got more opportunity outside of work to enjoy life, all these things that we've discussed. But actually, I think from regards to the sort of 9 to 5, you finish work relatively on time. You're not constantly having to work loads of extra hours after the pharmacy's closed to complete the workload for the day. We do have, struggles here with workload and resource, and this also impacts people's stress and work-life balance, which is again reasons why people would like other opportunities or looking for a better quality of life. So I think that's a massive advantage that we should raise in conversation.